Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Wrestling Forum on a special Sunday night here in East Providence, Rhode Island. I'm a good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio. We're hoping to get Michael Bullock. I did send him an invite. Hopefully he did get it. If he did, great. If he doesn't, then that's all right because me and Florio can definitely have no problem with this at all. We welcome you we'll welcome everybody to another edition. Tonight, we're covering AEW Double or Nothing. All right, so Michael Bullock will not be on tonight, so it's just going to be me and Florio flying tonight. So, what we're going to start is with AEW. Of course, last night was their Double or Nothing show, and boy, we got a lot to talk about. So, let's start right off. The pre show fight was the best friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta. They went up against Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, a private party. The winners would become the number one contenders for the AEW World Tag Team titles, and the best friends wins the match, and they do become now the number one contenders. So sometime down the line in the near future, they will fight for the AEW World Tag Team titles, currently held by the Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega of the Elite. So, first fight of the actual fight card was the casino ladder match. If you win the match, you receive a world title match for the AEW world title, and we have found out that will be at Fighter Fest. Um, the participants was Darby Allin, Cole Cabana, Orange Cassidy, Joey Janela, Scorpio Sky, Skip Sabian, Frankie Kazarian, Luchasaurus, and there was one other spot that was out there. Now, note that I said Joey Janela's name and not Ray Phoenix's name. Ray Phoenix had to be pulled from the card due to an injury prior to the event, so Joey Janela was added to the mix. And then the surprise pick, or the surprise, was um, that it was none other than Impact Wrestling superstar Brian Cage. That's right, Brian Cage is now with All Elite Wrestling, and more importantly, he has a new manager in the Human Suplex Machine Taz, and Brian Cage has won the casino ladder match. He pulled the Joker card and was the winner. He will now become the number one contender for the AEW World title. And I gotta say, this was a very good ladder match. I think this was a solid fight. I could easily give this about 3.5 to 4 stars. It was a great action all the way around. I think a lot of people are surprised that it's Brian Cage. You know, Brian Cage is a big man. Like, he's a monster of a man. And he is definitely going to be a major threat right out of the bat. But a lot of people is going to say, you just buried your whole roster. Why would you give it to somebody who's relatively new? Somebody who's never been in the company before, and now he is the number one contender? Well, that's a debate for another day, and I know a lot of people are going to start complaining about it, but it is what it is. So, Anthony Florio, is all yours. Brian Cage of Impact Wrestling made quite an impact on Double or Nothing last night. He's now the number one contender for the AEW World title.
Indeed, he is. And I'll tell you, MF, this is a 4-star match for me. Above all else, chaos is expected from a spectacle of a bout like this. The casino ladder match delivered that in spades. While the high spots and creativity alone would be more than enough to earn it an above average rating, the stories involved throughout elevated it to another level. From Kip Sabian, Jimmy Havoc, and Penelope Ford trying to steal the win, to Orange Cassidy's early laziness, to the introduction of Brian Cage and Taz's revenge on Darby Allin for perceived disrespect. This was loaded with numerous stories to keep fans invested. The biggest takeaway, of course, was Cage's debut. He was presented as a total badass, an unstoppable force who will be seemingly impossible to defeat. His introduction, along with the presences of Lance Archer, Wardlow, and Mr. Brody Lee, has the heavyweight portion of the roster brimming with talent and untapped potential. There is no question about this whatsoever. Now, the next pay per view event is the All Out, and it's not scheduled until Labor Day weekend, Saturday night, September the 5th. But they're already announcing it for the Fighter Fest. So, how in the world are they going to do Fighter Fest? Are they going to schedule that for another Saturday down the road? Or would they be bold enough to save it for maybe a future Dynamite? I have no unearthly idea. But all I do know is the next pay per view event as of now is September the 5th, and that day just became even bigger than it already was. I mean, you throwing in the all out pay per view on top of, if all goes well, the rescheduled Kentucky Derby and week 1 of college football. Oh my word, September 5th. Wow, what a day that's going to be. Oh my word. So that's if all goes well. So we'll see what happens when we get to Labor Day weekend. But for right now, this was a solid 4 stars. Great way to start it off. I mean, perfect match. I mean, you couldn't start off the pay per view with a more perfect jump off than this. I mean, it's like with TNA when they do it with the X divisions. So nothing like a spot fest to start things off, and it was a chaotic spot fest. And Brian Cage with Taz as his manager. Oh my goodness. To the AEW World Champion, I don't care who you are, you're in trouble, big trouble. Let's move on to the next match.
All right, and the next fight on the fight card it was MJF Maxwell Jacob Freeman with Warlow going 1-on-1 with Jungle Boy. MJF wins the match in 17 minutes and 20 seconds. Anthony, it's yours.
3.5 stars. This was just a superbly wrestled match. Every spot meant something. The psychology was on point, and the efforts of both men enhanced the meaning of the bout. MJF targeting the arm while looking for the salt of the earth finisher was smart, as was the finish, which proved the cerebral young competitor could adjust and adapt to the flow of the match. Both of these young wrestlers are the future of the company. Two guys who will be headlining pay per views as long as they can continue growing and evolving as performers. On the big stage with a ton of pressure to deliver after the spot heavy opener, they more than excelled and earned every bit of praise sure to be heaped on them. So, 3.5 stars. That's the correct rating for this bout. So, MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, excellent fight. 3.25, 3.5 stars. Absolutely right. It kind of reminded me of when Pac and Orange Cassidy fought. It was almost similar to that kind of match. It was a hard fought match. It was better than expected, even though the outcome was predictable. But at the end of the day, they really turned it up and really turned out. So I really was very impressed with the match. Very good fight. Nothing more to say. We're just going to move right along to the fight to determine the first ever TNT champion, Cody Rhodes versus Lance Archer. Cody wins the bell at 22 minutes. 4-star fight. Now, I know we're getting a lot. I know AEW is getting a lot of backlash at the belt. And I know a lot of people are poo pooing over the belt, calling it horrible. Now, AEW and the makers of the belt has actually come out and said, wait, this is not the finished product. They still got a long way to go. What happened was, as everything else has been happening in the world, because of what's been going on, they were forced to shut down, and they stopped production on the belt. So the belt itself is not completely done. They said that they were going to put gold on it, that they were going to put some extra gems around it. So this is kind of I don't want to call it a prototype because it's not, but it's basically, it's a shell of what it's supposed to be. It's not done. It's not complete. It, from what I heard, I think it's like only 50% done. So everybody relax, calm down, take a deep breath. You know AEW is going to deliver with their championship titles. I get the negativity. I get them slamming it. I get them saying, "Oh, it's like typical WWE. It looks like garbage." Easy, relax. It's not done yet. Give it time. They the guys who made the belt, they're like, this is not done by a long shot. We will win you guys over. Right now, that's just a prototype. It's not done. It's not 100%, but you got to give us more time. We're working on it right now. We're really short-handed. It's a skeleton crew, and on top of that, the people that normally makes the belts, they don't have as much time as they used to because of all the stuff that's going on in the world. So give AEW a little bit of a break, guys. I know you want, especially the haters, the AEW haters, the ones who love WWE. They're the one that's going after them. They're slamming this one pretty hardcore. Just give them a little bit of a break, guys. Please don't mind me. That there's some fireworks. There's some knuckleheads shooting off fireworks in my area. So if you hear any popping noise, it's pyrotechnics, illegal. So nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it's all yours.
Welcome to my world when it comes to that nonsense.
Yeah,
But 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 anyways, getting back to the actual reason we're here. 3.5 to 4. That's the correct rating for this match. Lance Archer was presented as a dominant force throughout the match, kicking out of everything thrown at him by Cody. He looked every bit the destroyer he had been booked as to this point. Perhaps that is why it was such a curious booking decision to have him fall apart the minute Roberts disappeared from ringside. It's not as if Archer has never competed without Jake the Snake before. He has achieved success in both TNA Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling without Jake Roberts, and he dominated the action without needing Roberts to interfere on his behalf. That bit of the booking hurt the overall quality of the match. What helped the finish, booking aside, was the intensity that Cody showed and the emotion expressed after the bell. The win meant something to him, and thus the importance of the title is not in question. It will be interesting to see how Archer rebounds Wednesday on Dynamite, because he looks somewhat weak and having to rely so heavily on Jake the Snake Roberts as a corner man and a mouthpiece. But a couple of things that do need to be addressed. I heard that Wednesday on Dynamite, there's supposed to be some sort of battle royale to determine the first challenger, Cody's first challenger for the TNT Championship. I heard they're going to be doing that. And I also heard, and this is confirmed, Iron Mike Tyson. This is not the last we're going to be seeing of him. Iron Mike Tyson is going to be on Dynamite as well. So there's already two big things to look forward to come Wednesday night on Dynamite. That battle royale to determine who Cody's first defense will be against. And who knows, maybe it could be Archer again. You never know. And then from there, Iron Mike Tyson's going to be in the house as well. So there's something to think about right there. So 3.5 to 4. That's the correct rating for this. I'm leaning more towards 3.5 because of that little bit of booking issue there. But other than that, great matchup here. And I should have had more faith in Cody. I mean, when we did our preview the other night, I was torn as to who was going to win this match. I mean, we caved and we went with Archer because of the dominance and everything else. But we really should have considered Cody, considering he hasn't really had that, signature breakout Cody babyface moment yet. And we should have, because he's been through a lot. I mean, having MJF turn his back on him, losing the right to challenge for the AEW World Heavyweight title. I mean, the man's been through a lot, and we should have had a feeling that he was going to get his comeuppance here, and he did. So, congratulations, Cody. Well deserved. First ever inaugural TNT champion. So, we'll see if if we get a tweaking of the belt anytime soon. I don't know if we will, because it's been all because of what. So that's all there is to say on this. This was a 3.5 star match for me. So nothing more to say, MF. We got a couple of cool down fights we need to get into. MF, are you there?
I apologize. I had my mic muted. Chris Statlander versus Penelope Ford. Chris Statlander wins the match in 5 minutes and 30 seconds, and then Dustin Rhodes beat Sean Spears in 3 minutes and 20 seconds in our cool down fight. Okay, can I just say something, just for the record? What did Sean Spears do to AEW for him to get buried to Dustin Rhodes that fast? Now, I get it about Penelope Ford because Penelope Ford was a last second replacement for Dr. Britt Baker. Unfortunately, if you haven't heard the news, Britt Baker tore her PCL and she could be out about a year. Like, she's out about 1 year.
But she's
And
she's actually gonna make an appearance on Dynamite
to
to
address.
to address. Yeah, that's what the doctor said during the show.
Okay. So we'll wait and see what happens to. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious. But if it was what the dirt sheets has said, this is a bad injury. But we'll see. Now, Dustin and Sean Spears, huh? I'm not too keen on how that fight went down at all. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't get it. That was weird booking for me. But anyway, uh next up on the fight card we have was Sheeta versus Nyla Rose. No disqualification, no countouts for the AEW Women's World Title. Winner of the bout in 16 minutes and 40 seconds. And new AEW Women's Champion Sheeta. She wins the title. Anthony, I'll give this to you. History was made last night in Jacksonville. New AEW Women's Champion.
The second round of history that was made, considering Cody becoming the inaugural TNT champion, that was also a history made moment.
Yes, it was.
And here you go. Definitely the shocker of the night here. I mean, we all thought Nyla Rose was going to continue her run of dominance, but I'm gonna get into something really in a moment as soon as I give my overall thoughts on this. But this was absolutely fantastic. I got to give this about 4 to 4.25 stars. I mean, the no DQ stipulation was the key to the success of this match, as Nyla Rose's dominance was offset by Hikaru Shida's ability to evade and strike. She avoided Rose's punishing offense and relied heavily on what brought her to the dance, her striking offense and trusty kendo stick. The action here was great, and the brawl into the stands was fun and showcased Ashita hell-bent on winning the title. She wanted it more, and she dealt the final blow with the very kendo stick Rose used against her in a vicious sneak attack on a recent Dynamite. The build to this match was all about Shida. Her journey in the title contention dominated the past 2 months of AEW Dynamite, and losing here would have rendered that all for naught. This was the emotional payoff her journey deserved, and a feel-good moment in a week where the professional wrestling industry really needed it, with those three tragic deaths. You know, Larry Zonka, the head writer of 411mania.com, Shad Gaspard, as we all know, with that whole beach situation, and perhaps the most senseless of all three of them, the young lady wrestler from Japan, 22 years old.
Oh, I don't even want to get into that.
I don't
I
either.
I so do not want to. I do not
Yeah.
want to rage tonight because when I heard that,
No,
I was furious, flipping out furious.
you're not the only one.
Oh no.
You're not the only one. But I was just making the point as to
Oh yeah,
how
absolutely.
tragic the week was.
Yeah.
Those three deaths. So, but the last one, obviously, the most senseless of. Well, they were all of them were tragic, but the most recent one was far and away not only the most tragic, but the most senseless of all. You know, you know, that's the world we live in, folks. So that's all there is to say on that, and that's how it's going to be. So nothing we can do about it. But But anyways, there's a small part of me that thinks that it was, small part of me thought it might have been a sympathy win, maybe. I mean, a la Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero from yesteryear. Small part of me, not a whole part of me, but the small part of me was thinking that in the back of my mind. But then again, Sheeta had been on such a big roll anyway because she kept on winning and winning and winning and winning on Dynamite after Dynamite after Dynamite after Dynamite. So, and she was the number one contender forever and a day. So, but hey, I love Sheeta. I mean, I'm a big fan of her, not just because she's beautiful, but also because of her ability as well. And I, for one, couldn't be happier for the third ever AEW Women's Champion behind Nyla Rose and, of course, the inaugural champion, Riho. So I can't wait to see how this goes. But I got a feeling it's not going to be the last we're going to see of the Native Beast. So enjoy it now, Sheeta, because you've gone from the hunter to the hunted. Because you're going to have a lot of young ladies coming at you. I mean, you're probably not going to have to worry about Britt Baker. I mean, that's at least one you don't have to worry about. But you're going to have to worry about the likes of Nyla Rose. You could probably maybe worry about Chris Statlander, maybe Penelope Ford.
I think Statlander is now the next contender. Honestly,
Yeah,
I think
she was two in the rankings,
and she garnered another win. I actually believe if other than a possible rematch for Nyla Rose, I think Chris Statlander might be the next in line for the AEW Women's title.
Yeah, and all the other women that we haven't seen in a long time. I mean, don't forget, you might have Big Swole coming for you.
Yeah,
Be a tough challenge.
possible. And
Um,
Riho's been missing, man. I have not seen the little cutie. Where's she at? Where's she been?
I wonder if she's in quarantine.
Probably back in Japan. Possible.
With the travel, with all the travel restrictions.
Yeah, possible. Yeah.
And of course another Japanese, Emi Sakura.
Yes.
That we might have to watch for her as well. So and maybe Yuka Sakazawa or whatever her name is.
Yeah, you got it right.
Yeah. I apologize if I butchered the pronunciation, but you know where I'm coming from. So you're gonna have all those to worry about. The only one you won't have to worry about is Dr. Britt, unless something miraculous happens, but that's not gonna happen. So. But anyways, 4 to 4.25 star match. Congratulations to Karu Shida, well deserved, and MF, like I said, in what has been without question the most tragic week in professional wrestling in recent memory. We needed a feel good moment here, and AEW said, you know what, that's exactly what we're going to give you. How about it?
Agreed. A great feel good moment for Hikaru Shida. She deserved it. She earned it. She
Amen.
won it. I don't think there's anybody. I think we were all surprised because I don't think we thought that this was going to happen. I think we all thought that Nyla Rose was going to successfully defend it because we were all thinking that Nyla, because this was legitly kind of her first title defense. So we kind of were like, I don't think they're going to drop the belt. She still had it for a little bit now. I don't think it's time to strap it on somebody else. But oh no, AEW is like, nope, let's do it. Let's do it this way. And the next thing we know, history was made. So I mean, it was a great match. It was a great win. Congratulations. And I really got nothing more to add. So let's just move right along to the co-main event of the evening for the AEW World Heavyweight title. It was Jon Moxley versus Mr. Brody Lee, as Dasha Fuentes, when Brody Lee kind of forced Dasha to announce him as the self-proclaimed AEW World Champion. But when it was all said and done, Jon Moxley does indeed win. He gets the belt back. He is now officially, undisputedly, the AEW World Champion. 15 minutes and 30 seconds by technical submission. Anthony, it's yours.
Three and three quarters of a star. That's the correct rating for this match. This was Moxley's best pay per view match to date. A balls to the wall brawl that was appropriately brutal and intense. Moxley may have won, narrowly escaping defeat, but Lee looked like a total badass as he fought through everything thrown at him. Unlike Archer's loss earlier in the night, Lee's was disputable. He never quit. The referee made the call to protect the wrestler when his body gave out on him. His booking in this match will help him build a connection with audiences more than any rapid push, Vince McMahon mockery, or Dark Order angle ever could. So I said we may not see the last of Nyla Rose in the women's section here, but we have not seen the last of Mr. Brody Lee and the World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, what a unique match. I mean, referee gave a lot of leeway to it, even though it was not officially advertised as a no disqualification or a no holds barred match. And, you know, Moxley and Lee were incredibly physical and hard hitting. They remained safe, though, but it was a fight between two guys who wanted to put on a brutal affair, and it showed. Lee shined in a main event spot, and Moxley continued to show prowess as the lead babyface of the division. The big stunt toward the end of the bout could have easily forced the match into a no contest, but smartly, AEW opted to tease the cop-out only to go with a real finish. And in general, I dislike those kind of finishers. But I love the added touch of Lee being out on his feet and kicking out on instinct, leading Moxley to get resourceful and creative and just flat out choke Lee out. It made sense for what the match became. Kudos to both men. Three and three quarters of a star. MF, your thoughts?
I agree. Three and three quarters. This was an excellent fight. I was watching this with a bunch of my friends last night, and we were marking the minute they went right through the stage. It was very reminiscent of ECW Heatwave 1998 when Taz fought Bam Bam Bigelow for the ECW World Title, and they had a similar moment when they went through the rampway and then went through the ring, and we had a double spot on that fight. This was almost similar to it. This was a great matchup, but I'm glad that they got an actual win. I kind of felt like the technical submission, though. I kind of felt like that was, I don't know. A lot of the guys didn't like it, and neither did I. That's why I'm actually dropping it a quarter of a point. I'm only giving it 3.5. So I didn't really like the ending. I thought the ending was a little wishy-washy, to say the very least. It does make Brody Lee give another opportunity to get the another title match, but ultimately, I'm sorry, Florio. I kind of disagree a little, just a tad. I got a nitpick on that. I didn't like it. I don't know why. I just didn't. I think for him to pass out after that, I don't know. Even some of the guys kind of didn't really like the ending. It was just kind of it was just there. Let's say that. Main event of the evening was the Stadium Stampede fight. The Elite versus the Inner Circle. The Elite wins the match in 34 minutes. All right. Our prediction was we wanted 4.5 to near 5 stars. We were like 5 stars. If this was 5 stars or less, was going to be nothing but a disappointment. They did not disappoint. There was a lot of everything that you got. Great football references. If you're not a fan of football, you got a lot of the references on this one. There was a lot of comedy in this fight. This was not, I'm going to say it, there was some points where it got a little campy comedy, where I think only true wrestling fans would get it. If you're a non-wrestling fan, you probably are wondering, what the hell is this crap? But for guys like myself and Anthony, we got it. We knew every joke that was being played in the game. And it was beautifully done. You could not have done any better than what you did. To see them go all over the stadium was awesome. Going into the mezzanine level, the lobby, going into one of the suites in TIAA Bank Stadium. That was beautifully done. Going into the pool, I told you there was a pool there. I knew there was a pool, and they went there. They redid the Lake of Reincarnation, which prompted Matt Hardy to go into his traditional V1 classic WWE joke there. Yeah, the guys coming out like football players being introduced. When they started the fight, they ran from like each of the 20-yard lines to meet each other at the 50. That was awesome. The Jaguars mascot got Judas affected by Chris Jericho. Jericho makes a cover, gets a 2 count by the lovely Aubrey Edwards, and Jericho basically claimed, he's like, I thought that was 3. I challenge you, throws the red flag out there. So Aubrey's like, okay, I guess I'm going to have to go. She literally goes under the hood for the replay, says nope. The call stands on the field. And then you had, Matt Jackson doing the basically going 100 yards with poor Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara, man. Poor Sammy Guevara got absolutely destroyed in this fight. I mean, he went chased by, um, literally chased by Adam Page because of the horse. Then he almost got ran over again with the golf cart. Got basically got monkey flipped all the way for 100 yards. Then at the end, basically just to cap off the entire fight, got one wing angeled off the one of the partitions, one of the gates from all the way through a whole bunch of tables down at floor level in the stadium. I mean, my God. So this was an incredible match. 5 stars is a given. This was what you expected the fight to be. Chaos, amazing, beautiful storytelling. Yes, there was a lot of comedy in it. There was a lot of campy comedy. But if you got it, if you knew what they were doing, if you got the puns, this was absolutely perfect. If you didn't get it, I think you had a major problem with this fight. So, was this the perfect fight? Unless you knew the psychology of it, then yes. If you didn't get it, you probably are thinking this was just as garbage as WWE stuff, which, to each his own. But I thought they delivered this absolutely perfectly, and this was a tremendous end to Double or Nothing. So, Anthony, I give it to you.
Absolutely 5 stars. No doubt about it. I mean, this was the most ridiculous, chaotic, asinine, awesome, absurd piece of artistry and spectacle ever. Will there be old school fans who crap all over it and the fact that it quote unquote killed the business? Absolutely. Will others applaud the creativity and reward the hard work of those involved with due praise? Absolutely. This is going to split the wrestling world, and understandably so, but given the circumstances and the current tone of things, this was exactly the sort of carefree fun we deserved and needed. The Hardy transformations will have their critics, but the pool stuff was fun, as was Adam Page's horse ride and bar fight with Jake Hager. Chris Jericho working with the Young Bucks was fresh, while Sammy Guevara, as has been the case for quite some time, was the star of the entire ordeal. His late match antics put a nice bow on the most unique match we have ever seen and may never see again. And that is saying something, given the Firefly Funhouse contest that WWE produced at WrestleMania. If this was the conclusion of this rivalry, one that began back in October with the advent of Dynamite, it was apropos. It wrapped up several threads, with the most notable being Hangman Page and Kenny Omega finally coming together over a drink and put the heroes over in the end. It'll be interesting to see the fresh direction AEW takes with all involved come Wednesday night on TNT. They stole the dang show. I'm not at all surprised by that. I had a feeling it would. Making it the main event was the absolute right call. No other match was going to follow this. None.
No.
Not even the world title match was going to follow that. So they did the right thing, making this the main event. And well done to everybody involved. I mean, that was freaking awesome. I mean, we knew it was going to deliver. I'm not at all surprised it did. So, yes, this was a 5-star classic. Not quite my match of the year, though. I still have the tag title match from Revolution as my fight of the year so far. But this is definitely up there, though. There's no question about that. It's definitely in my list. No doubt about it. And that final spot at the end, that would have been the rare case where MF would have yelled, "Oh my effing god!" instead. So
Yeah.
because it's AEW, because AEW they don't do that. They're not PG. So MF would have gotten away with the F bomb on that. But for right now, Fight of the Night, 5-star classic. They stole the dang show. No surprise here. So what a way to cap off what I honestly felt was a damn good pay per view, and you can make an argument for the pay per view of the year for this point so far. So MF, what do you say?
I think this was a very good match. I think this was a very fine main event. Like I said, me and my boys were eating it up. We were laughing the whole time. We literally from the minute they started, from the player introductions to basically the meetup at the 50-yard line when they started brawling. That was absolutely phenomenal. Then we were wondering, we're like, wait a minute, where's Adam Page? Where's Adam Page? Then we see him with the horse, Sammy running out of the stadium as of course Adam Page going on full tilt trying to find him. Then he's like, you know what? The heck with this. I'm going to the East Bay lobby, the East Club lobby. So he's going down there. Hager comes up, and we all were like, "Oh no! Don't harm the horse! Don't harm the horse! Don't harm the horse!" And you see him go over there. I was like, "Uh oh, Page is over there." I was like, "Oh, there's gonna be a barroom brawl." So and then you had that. You had the pool, and we were all freaking out. We're like, "Oh my god, what is gonna happen?" One of my guys was like, "Watch, they're gonna turn that into the Lake of Reincarnation." Sure enough, they did. It was hilarious. We were going nuts over that. There was nothing bad about this fight. And I think that's the best thing to say it. There was nothing bad about this match. There was easily some puns and jokes towards WWE. There was jokes and puns to the NFL. Using the goalpost as a weapon. When Jericho threw, I think it was Nick Jackson throwing him into that gator mouth, and the Jacksonville Jaguar flipping out on Jericho. He got Judas effect after that. He assaulted the mascot, and I'm like, and you had to admit, like, who wouldn't want to slap that mascot around? I mean, come on. I know Florio, you probably enjoyed it. You know,
Yeah, of course I enjoyed it. Absolutely.
I know how much you don't like the mascot, so I know you probably would have enjoyed seeing the Jaguar mascot get his comeuppance by Jericho.
Oh,
So,
heel commentary moment right there.
oh yeah, absolutely. So, well, in this instant, Anthony would be the lead commentator. Well, I don't know who would be the lead. Derek?
Oh, Derek would.
Derek would. So, yeah, I mean, because there's no real heel commentators on the show.
No.
Derek would be the lead. You would definitely follow. I would be the third guy. So I mean, but it was a great match all the way around. So yeah, nothing more to add. So overall review, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. The only thing that was down was really the Chris Statlander fight and the Dustin Rhodes. Other than that, the whole show is fine. So 8 out of 10 for me. Anthony, it's yours.
8.5 to 9 actually is my rating. This was an excellent show under the circumstances. Crowdless wrestling is never going to take off, and it's going to be hard to sustain or build an audience in this format. But AEW is doing it just about as well as it can be done. The matches last night felt consequential and creative. The in-house audience added noise, energy, and excitement to the action, and the wrestlers worked hard from top to bottom. The average complaint from fans was the nearly 4-hour runtime. It ran in at 3 3/4 hours. It ended at 11:45. While I don't think that's a horrible format for AEW to follow under traditional circumstances, I would prefer that crowdless shows are trimmed down a bit. Just like we saw with the Money in the Bank event by WWE, which was only 2.5 hours, and that was it. So even though AEW does a commendable job creating noise, even still, if you can stomach this new pandemic-induced format of professional wrestling, this show comes highly recommended by me, no question about it. And I could probably go as far as to say this is the event of the year so far, although Revolution is right there with it. So this was 8.5 to 9 for me. Great show. Well done. Can't wait to see what happens on Dynamite. That TNT Contender Battle Royal. Iron Mike Tyson on the show. Britt Baker will address her injury status personally. So all that and much more. So get ready Wednesday night. It truly will be mayhem, as well as on NXT, especially with the big bomb that was dropped in NXT. Oh my gosh.
We'll get into that tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. We're gonna recap Monday Night Raw. We're gonna recap Impact Wrestling. I don't think there's anything else on the docket other than that. And now,
205 Live is back.
oh, there you go. And we'll have 205 Live. So we'll have some 205 Live action as well. And that's it for the night, guys. So for Anthony Florio, I am Michael Fletcher. Thank you so much. Like the video, leave a comment at the bottom, share with all your friends on all the social media platforms. And until tomorrow, so long, everybody.
Goodbye.